Welcome to another spooky, scary Saturday. This week, our movie of the week was Nightmare on Elm Street, as we can tell by the nails and shirt here. Before we roll into it, if you are new here on YouTube, welcome. I do spooky related, beauty related videos here. And go ahead, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe and that bell icon to be notified when I upload new videos. I will be finishing out our Spooky Scary Saturdays, uploading a new Spooky Scary Saturday each Saturday long, heading into Halloween. All right, so let's get in with the spookiness. Released November 16th, 1984, the year probably best known in the 80s for whatever reason, actually. Wes Craven's classic slasher film. Several teenagers fall prey to Freddy Krueger, played by Robert Englund, who kind of created the character, actually. A disfigured midnight mangler who preys on the teenagers in their dreams, which in turn kills them in reality if he's able to snatch them up in their nightmare.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
After experiencing this and kind of losing a friend, basically, throughout this whole nightmare phenomenon, murdering Nancy, played by Heather Langenkamp, I think. Langenkamp is how you say her name. She begins to suspect that there's a dark secret behind this whole Freddy phenomenon and gets a little skeptical of her friend's parents, her own mother, and it may be the key to unraveling the mystery, aka you find out when she talks to her mother about everything going on and Fred Krueger and all of this, that there was a man, Fred Krueger, he murdered, and there's definitely a lot of other things implied. That all these terrible things happen to these children in that neighborhood, and the parents found out what was going on and basically killed him so he couldn't, harm their children anymore. And because of this, now he, in death, is going into their dreams and killing them, basically. After her boyfriend, who's played by Johnny Depp, his first actual big movie, whoop whoop, after Glenn is brutally kind of killed, and one of the best kills, I will say, Nancy decides to take action into her own hands and goes into her dream specifically to find Freddy, where before they were avoiding sleep altogether just because they knew that he would come get him. No, she takes the initiative, goes into her dream, has this whole plan carved out to kind of lure Freddy in and defeat him, and by the end of it, she figures out that the key to defeating Freddy Krueger is to take his power away by just saying you're not afraid of him.
I take back every bit of energy I gave you.
And it works up until the very last second, which is kind of interesting just because Wes Craven has said in his documentaries that, well, not his, in interviews I saw in a documentary, that he was pretty much done with the movie after that. Like, that was it. She defeated him by taking away his power, and that would wrap it up. It was never meant to be this whole, huge, drawn-out movie franchise like it has become, kind of, taking off after the Friday the 13th franchise. It was never meant to be that for him. It was just this one film, this one story, this one plot, and he was done with it. And then it was the producer who actually kind of fought him tooth and nail on this whole, no, we have to have that creepy ending with, he grabs the mom and kills her, and, oh, Freddy, is he really dead, sort of thing? Was this a dream? Is this real? Is this happening? All that sort of stuff. And I mean, he really did not want that to be the end of the movie. He was done with the story at that point. And, we all know that the ending did come out the way it did, with the whole mom getting killed.
Hey! I'm not doing this! What's going on with the window?
So it's just kind of funny that Wes Craven, the movie franchise that we love and know today, it's not even really exactly what he wanted it to be. But, that's just one of those battles that happens when it comes to producers and directors and making a huge blockbuster movie. So that is A Nightmare on Elm Street that we all may or may not have already known, but here are probably some fun facts most of you are not aware of. This one is probably the most well-known, I would say, and I did mention it earlier. A Nightmare on Elm Street is Johnny Depp's film debut. During casting, it came down to 21-year-old Johnny Depp and another young actor to play the lead's boyfriend, Glenn. Director Wes Craven asked his teenage daughter which he should cast for the boyfriend part, and she said, "Go with Johnny Depp. He's such a hot guy," or heartthrob. "He's so cute." And it's just really funny because he was like, "What? This little dweeby kind of looking guy? We're going to grab him?" And I mean, as we all know, Johnny Depp's career has definitely taken off, and as you will see in me talking in other films, that's not the only young actor who got their start in horror. I mean, you got Johnny Depp, John Travolta, and my favorite, Carrie. We'll get into next week, Kevin Bacon in Friday the 13th. Just so many good actors. Paul Rudd in Halloween. So just a lot of young, great actors got their role. Even Justin Gordon-Levitt is in a Halloween, H2O, at the very beginning. He dies. It's great. Anyway, the movie was inspired by real-life events. Craven decided to make A Nightmare on Elm Street after reading a series of LA Times articles about a group of teenagers. They were actually immigrants, and after moving to the U.S. from refugee camps, they all mysteriously died in their sleep after suffering from disturbing nightmares. Really creepy. Freddy was the name of a bully who beat up Wes Craven in elementary school, and his signature hat was based on one worn by a neighborhood drunk who scared Craven when he was young. Also, his sweater is scientifically scary. He designed it in a way that he wanted to have the two most unnatural or unsettling colors right by each other. That's why it's like that weird kind of greeny and also weird kind of red put together like that, even though most people think it's black and red. It's not. It's red and green. So almost kind of like Christmas, but in an unsettling sort of way. Wes didn't want Freddy to yield a simple sort of knife like Michael Myers in Halloween or Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th or that machete or anything like that. So he drew on his fear of his own cat's claws and a series of late-night commercials selling sets of knives to create Freddy's iconic knife glove.
Here's God.
So those are all the fun facts we have time for today. Going into my opinion of, the Wes Craven phenomenon sort of movie that, sparked all of it for Wes Craven and New Line Cinema. I mean, there would not be New Line without A Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, it was the movie that took this independent label and pushed it into the forefront. Anyway, I love Freddy Krueger. He is a great slasher villain. I mean, he's the first one that really breaks that wall, talks to the audience, doesn't hide behind a mask all the time. Roderick England just really made that character come to life. So before we wrap this up, if you have more interesting things that you want to learn about this franchise, the whole franchise, go ahead, get on Shudder. Do yourself a favor. It is a horror, just Netflix of horror. Check out the documentary Never Sleep Again, The Elm Street Legacy. Also, check out Scream Queen, My Nightmare on Elm Street, about the second one. There's a lot on that backstory of how that was made. So, wrapping it up, that was our movie talk, and I will see you all next week with another Spooky Scary Saturday.